these handlers go left-handed. And North Hill Tess goes off to the left. So Tom O'Sullivan is from Glebe, Kilcummin, Killarney, County Kerry. And he's running North Hill Tess, who's 5 years and 9 months. She's by Tanhill Glen.
Just coming in there, gave her a turnout whistle. She hadn't seen the sheep from his feet. Sorry, Hugh.
No problem. So, as I said, Tess is by Tanhill Glen, who's owned by Kevin Evans. And out of North Hill Tess, who's owned by Richard Lewis. He started trialling back in 2005 at the age of 21. This is his 4th time. His 4th time in the Irish team. And his dog, the bitch North Hill Tess, was bred by Richard Lewis down in Pembrokeshire, out of Kevin Evans' Tanhill Glen. It's his 2nd time in the team, having previously competed in 2019. And he's looking forward to catching up with friends this weekend, having not seen any of them for over the year and a half, and is delighted to represent his country once again.
It means a lot to people to represent the country at this level. Very gentle start from Tess. Feeling a sheep.
Yeah, that first part of the fetch is that's where you got to get the grips with your sheep, really, isn't it, Mike? You get a feel for them, and they've got to get a feel for the dog as well.
A feel for the dog, yes.
If the dog takes control of them, then you know then that you've got a good chance to get around the course. But if they do take advantage of the dog and get away with it, then they'll just keep pushing boundaries as they come down and around that course.
Yeah, he's working away with Tess. He's putting the left to right, just see what distance these sheep can feel there. Ideally, you'd like not to see the sheep dog on the fetch, but just the sheep. But you just daren't risk it. You need to just move your dog from left to right to see how the sheep react. Keep them online, but just feel each other all the way through.
It builds that connection, doesn't it, between the sheep and the dog if you,
yes.
as you come down that fetch.
Because it'll be the first time these sheep have seen these dogs.
Yep. So he hit the centre of the fetch gates. There's that little bit of an incline just coming up. You can see that there was an old fence line across where the dog, just behind the dog on that line. So he works his way now down to the post, around the handler, and then you'll start that first leg of the drive.
You don't have to come down the podium. You can stay there, can't you? It's some handlers' preference.
You can, but we were talking about this earlier, Mike. You get a better feel for the sheep if you come down to ground level, don't you? You can help the dog to get the sheep around that post if you're just taking a step or two, just to aid that dog to get those sheep around the post as tight as possible, and
without upsetting them.
Without upsetting them, of course. And as you follow them round, as Paddy was saying earlier, you follow them around and then you can just not take your eyes off the sheep and just go straight back up onto the podium as Tom has done there.
Yes. Did a lot of whistling, loud whistling round the post. I always wonder sometimes if you're better off talking to them quietly, but some handlers like to do whistling all the time.
And I suppose you get to know your dog, don't you? You know what your dog can handle, and
I'll tell you what a lot of it is, Hugh, is how you're taught. And if your tutor or mentor whistles round all the time, you tend to do it for the rest of your life.
Right.
And if someone talks to you, I was taught by the great Tot Longton And he told me to be quiet around my feet. He said, stick that whistle in a sheep's mouth and let it whistle back at you and see if you enjoy it.
Well, he got his turn there.
Yes, I'm going to say to everyone's method, no one's method is wrong.
No, and he got the turn around the first drive gate there as well. The dog very nearly went the wrong way, but he managed to get control and put it the right way, and now he started his cross drive. And as I said earlier, when you zoom that camera out, it gives you an idea of the scope of this course, because that's a big field in front of us there.
Yes, it doesn't do it justice. When you walk out there, you could get a nosebleed, couldn't you, when you see the distance you've got to go?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the height because we're at sea level, but
No, but I meant the
distance, yeah.
Yeah, the distance.
Yeah.
So you've got to credit these dogs and the handlers for trying to work the puzzle out.
Yeah, most people today seem to be getting the solutions too, because as I said earlier, the quality of the running that we're seeing at this international is probably up there with some of the better running we've seen at an international.
I totally agree. As someone told me outside, I want a cup of tea. I said, well, go for one. They said, but there's no bad runs to go for one.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the team captains, and he said it's quite boring, really. He said we could do with a bit of excitement.
Yeah, but you're not running, Hugh, so...
Well, no. Sorry about that. I could have provided entertainment. This is where we get an idea now of, are they online?
As you said, no thistles, no nettles.
No. But if the sheep blank out the hurdle, you know you're about right. But if the hurdle blanks out the sheep, you know you're wrong.
That's right.
Tess sticking to her task.
Yeah, she is. She's...
And a nice type of dog. Nice smooth-coated, prick-eared. Looks to have a nice bit of pace and power. And as I said earlier, this dog was bred just down the road in Pembrokeshire with Richard Lewis.
So North Hill will be his prefix.
Must be, yeah.
I've seen it mentioned many times, and I always wondered whose it was.
By the famous Tanhill Glen, of course, of Kevin Evans's, who I think was by I.B. Jones's Tim.
Yes, he was. And I.B. Jones is here watching.
He is, yeah. Of course, Tim was bred by Alec Baines when he was up at Tanhill. I saw him at a nursery trial up in Northumberland. Thought he was a terrific dog then, but IB'd already spotted him and brought him back to Aberystwyth. And it shows the depth of breeding that goes into these dogs, isn't it? You know, you can go back generations and pick out those good dogs.
That's right. And Alec Baines, who bred Tanhill Glen, he wasn't frightened of travelling anywhere to use the dog he wanted to use.
Do you think that people went to Alec because he had a pub to use his dogs?
Well, it might have a slight influence on it. It wasn't for his looks, was it?
I'm not going to comment on that. I know he ran the pub.
For people that don't know Alec, he's they call him the Herdwick Tup because he looks like an old Herdwick Tup with grey whiskers. But a very good-looking tup.
Here's Tom now then, just settling those sheep down, hoping to get those two uncollared sheep. He hopes to get two together and then he'll string them out and call the dog in, because the way she's gone around this course, I think she's got the speed to come in fairly quick.
Yeah, and the sheep are settled to her as well.
They just swing that a couple of inches in the wrong direction and they swing a long way, don't they?
Yes. Such good bodies on these sheep as well, aren't they?
Well, they are the improved Welsh, the Tregaron Welsh, and
A nice shed there.
a very good shed. Yeah,
Is Tregaron a town or an area? Or
it's a town. Yeah, just south of here, and an area. So the mountains around Tregaron, and this type of sheep run around there. They've been coming and putting a little bit of other breeds of Welsh through them. They've been used the Talabont Welsh, and the Tregaron is an improved breed that keeps improving, and there's a lot of very good breeders of Talabonts, and these are a good example as well. They're a cracking bunch of ewes.
So they would breed twins quite easily then.
They breed twins, but on the heavier ground, on the higher ground, they'd have a good single,
Good single.
which would give you a good saleable lamb. But you know, if you got bit of improved ground, they would throw you your twins. And
And so they're a pure breed. You breed like for like.
yes,
Right.
yeah. The Martin Tregaron now, when they have their sales, is I've been there a couple of times, and it's a terrific show of sheep. And the same when they have their draft ewe sales, there's some very good sheep there as well. And a lot of people now put a blue face on them and produce a white face mule,
Good sheep.
and they're quite smart sheep. Good pen there as well.
Yeah, well done, Tom. And the whole point of dog trialing is to show the prowess of your dog, but also not to abuse your sheep. There's no shepherd or farmer abuses a sheep because they make money from them. And it's not about running the flesh off them at a trial as fast as you can.
It's working sheep in a workman-like manner, isn't it? That's what you
Yes.
want. And you see these guys, they're true stockmen in the way they handle their dogs and the way they handle their sheep. So you got one just starting to move to the back, but just as I said that, she took 2 steps forward and put herself into the middle. So as you said earlier, the purists would like the sheep to come in and hold it on the nose. But because this is a qualifying trial and you want to make sure that you get into that Supreme on Sunday, you take one off the back if you had to, wouldn't you, Mike? And not worry about it too much.
No. One off the front.
Off the front, sorry.
Yes, it's... yes, you don't want to ruin a very good run with a nasty timed little grip because
No.
that's all the dog's got to defend itself is its mouth. It can't get up and say whoa with its paws.
Yeah.
Here she comes, here she comes.
I was told
Didn't call her in, so...
many years ago by a friend of mine in Port Talbot that anywhere forward of the second rib is fair game if the dog is defending itself.
Really?
And especially lambing time when you need a dog to keep coming forward, you don't want it to go backwards.
No, that's right. If a ewe is in distress and you need to catch her, first and foremost, that's what these dogs are bred for. He's going to try and take her on the nose. There she goes. Little dog came in quickly.
And it's been accepted. Can you hear a round of applause as well from the crowd? So Tom O'Sullivan from Ireland, from Killarney, County Kerry,